Hey guys, Bob McIntosh here with redhatrehabs.com, and today I want to talk to you about contractors and how to not get screwed over by them. They are one of the most important pieces of doing business as a rehabber, and as such, we need to make sure that we're managing our contractors appropriately and that we're selecting the correct contractors when we're doing things like this. First of all, remember that contractors are in it to run a business. That's the only reason that they exist. It's a business for them, just like rehabbing is a business for us. So don't get pulled into or sucked into, oh, I want to make this and that, and they'll tell you anything they want to hear because they want your business. That's what it comes down to. So keep that in mind when you're doing this kind of stuff. Number two, remember that we are investors. We're not homeowners. We're not, anybody else looking for a contractor. We are investors. We don't pay retail prices when we're doing a rehab. That's it. There is no question, no negotiation. We do not pay retail prices. We pay wholesale prices. A contractor is not going to make his money from us on this one single job. He'll make his money from the fact that we can continually give him more and more jobs, and he'll stay busy for the entire year rather than staying busy for just one job. So keep that in mind. When a contractor tells you, oh, hey, here's the quote, and it seems awfully high, it's probably because it is. He's charging you retail prices. He's not charging you the wholesale prices. Make sure you help him understand what you can do for his business so that he can help you with your business. Next is define your work in detail. If you haven't defined an exact scope of work of exactly what you're going to be working on, exactly what you're going to be doing, down to having even the SKUs, the product ID numbers for everything that you're going to be using for paint, appliances, pretty much any major detail in the house, then it's not detailed enough. The contractor doesn't know what you want. He can't read your mind. He can't understand these things. So you've got to help him. You've got to make sure that he can understand exactly what you want done so he can do exactly what you want to get done. So make sure you define in explicit detail everything that you want done to your rehab so that he doesn't mess it up or screw you up or put things in that you didn't want in the first place. Next is, we never pay upfront for any work. I don't care what a contractor says. I don't care what excuse he's going to come at you with. Oh, I've got to pay for materials. Oh, I've got to pay for this. I got to pay my guys, blah, 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 blah. He'll create a million excuses to get your money up front. We never pay for anything up front. And here's why. Number one, any contractor who tells me that he needs money up front for materials is full of BS. Plain and simple, he's full of BS. Find me a contractor who can't go get a credit card or doesn't have a merchant account at your local Home Depot, Lowe's, or any one of those big box stores. They all have credit accounts there. They can all go buy materials and they have 30 days to pay for them. No different than if we as individuals were to use a credit card to buy materials at the store. We don't have to pay for those materials right then and there. We usually have 30 days or more depending on the structure of the agreement to pay for them. So he's no different. So that's that excuse. Out the window, done. If he needs to use the money to pay for his guys, be like, great. Your guys aren't getting paid ahead of time when they do things. You ask him, do you pay your men up front for work they haven't done? And he's going to say, well, no, because of course he doesn't. So why should you? You shouldn't. Again, that excuse, out the window. And the last and most important reason is that if we pay him up front, there's a good chance that he can walk away with that money. There's also a better chance that he won't complete the work. If I've already got the money for something I'm supposed to be doing, what's my incentive as the contractor to make sure it gets done on time, make sure it gets done in budget, and make sure it gets done fast? There isn't any. But now if I don't get paid till work gets done, boom, that changes the tables. It puts things in your favor. And that's what we want. We want to make sure that we control what our contractor is doing. He doesn't control what we're doing. So never, never, ever pay up front. It is a mistake. I've made it. Every rehabber makes it at some point. You will regret that decision at some point if you haven't already. All right. Next is, when we're checking in on our contractor, do it randomly. Don't come by every day at 9:37 a.m. to check on how things are going, because then he knows, boom, you're always coming by at 9:30 a.m. So I know I have to be there at 9:30 a.m. But I know you never come in the afternoon, so I don't have to worry about being there in the afternoon. If I want to take off after lunch, you're never going to know because you only come at 9:30 in the morning. But if you're always randomly checking in at different times, different days of the week, always like that, he'll never know when you're coming in, so therefore he just has to assume he needs to be there the entire time, which he should be anyways, but this just helps to ensure that a little bit further. Next, never trust the review. I don't care what a review a contractor has, if it's on Angie's List, if it's anywhere else. I don't trust it unless I can verify with that person that did the work. I want to call them. I want to ask them what they thought of that contractor. Did they like the work that was done? Did they like everything else that was done? How did they treat their person's house? You know, every little detail I can think of to ask about that contractor, I need to ask about it. Now, I will also, in most cases, go actually see the work that's been done. I want to see the work you did firsthand. If it was good work, a homeowner who's already used this contractor is going to be happy to show it off because they're going to be proud of their home. If it was kind of shoddy work, then the homeowner is going to be like, oh, yeah, you know, whatever, because they're not necessarily proud of the work that was done. And this is a good indicator that a contractor is bad and we don't want to use them. All right, so always talk to the person on the phone or in person if possible, and always make sure that you trust your gut. If your gut says, hey, I don't like this guy, don't use him. Our guts don't generally point us wrong, and we're here to make money, not to be charitable to contractors, okay? The last thing I want to talk about is you're gonna have to fire a contractor. Sorry to be the one to break the news to you, but that's the way it works. When we hire contractors in the rehab business, at some point we're gonna have to fire one. And no one wants to be that guy that says, oh, gotta go fire this guy now because he screwed up or did this. Like, none of us, like, in our gut, we're like, oh, I don't want to fire this guy. I don't want to create that conflict. But guess what? If you're gonna be a rehabber, it's gonna happen. At some point, you're gonna have to fire this guy. Just get over it and realize that it's going to have to happen. Every time you hire a contractor, just keep in mind, in the back of your mind, I'm probably going to have to fire this guy at some point. And it may not be on your first job or even your second job or even your 10th job. It might be on the 11th one when he finally decides, you know what, we got a good thing going. I'm just going to kind of slide some things in here and he'll never notice the difference because I've been working with him for so long. Not okay. At some point, you're going to have to fire him, so just brace yourself for that and be ready to do it. You're going to have a tough skin to do this. But guess what? It's part of doing a rehab. If you want to make money, be successful as an investor, definitely going to have to keep that in mind, okay? So, let's talk about some action steps right now. I'm going to give you guys 3 things that you need to start doing today if you're going to start doing rehabs anytime soon. First and foremost, I want you to practice an elevator speech that you can give to every contractor that you meet. It should talk about who you are, what you do, that you don't pay retail, that you pay for work when it's completed, and that if they can work within that system that you've defined, then they can be very successful along with you. Practice that speech everywhere you go. Always have it. It shouldn't be any more than 1 minute, probably less, closer to 30 to 45 seconds. So write that thing down, get it memorized, have it up here in your head so you can spout it out every time you meet a contractor. You hand them your card, you give them your elevator speech, and you're off and running. That's how we get contractors in this business, all right? Number 2, I want you to develop a scope of work template. I want you, if you don't have a rehab project right now, go online and find an example one of someone that's doing, or take one of the houses that you've recently looked at and you thought you might be doing a rehab on, and develop up that scope of work as though you were actually going to be doing it. Even if you're not going to do that house, it doesn't matter. What you'll find is that rehabbing houses is a system. We're going to go through that system and we're going to utilize a lot of the same materials on every single house that we do. All right? The materials are only going to change very minor between the houses. So if you've already got a template worked up and ready to go, you can process through rehabs that much faster, which makes your job a heck of a lot easier. Okay? And number 3, I want you to get in your mind, get out of your own mind's way, and realize that at some point you're going to have to fire a contractor. Practice that same firing speech. Have the reasons that you're going to have to let him go because he took advantage of you, because he's not getting work done, which is probably the most common. Just anything. Just be prepared. Get mentally pump yourself up to say, hey, I'm going to have to fire someone at some point in time, but it's for the best in my business, and this is how I can be the most successful real estate investor I want to be, and how I'm going to achieve my dreams and goals. Is because if I'm always getting taken advantage of, I'm never going to get there. So you kind of have to get out of your own way. It took me quite a bit of time to get over that initial fear of firing a contractor. I was like, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to, start conflict. But I sort of realized after I fired my first guy and I got a much better guy the next time, dude, so much easier, so much better. I can really, rock out and be a lot more successful in investing now that I don't have to worry about that hurdle. So just mentally prepare yourself for that and you'll be a lot better off. That's it for contractors and how to not get screwed over. My name again is Bob McIntosh with redhatrehabs.com, and I look forward to seeing you in another lesson with Real Estate Mogul.